Hey, a lot of people wearing Oasis shirts today, by the way.
Because it's
Which
Oasis summer, man. It's Oasis summer.
It
it's
sure
the year's
is.
the Oasis year.
Thank you for using the Tri-State Relay Service. Have a wonderful night.
Lily,
You too.
I want to start with you. Besides the fact you're my son's favorite actress, let's get that out of the way. I've got to say, whenever you take on a project, you seem to really try and do something you've never done before. What was it about? I'm assuming that was part of this as well.
Totally. Key. I'm always trying to push myself and challenge myself, surprise myself, put myself in a situation or a role or a story where I don't know if I really fully understand it yet, or if I've got what it takes to do it. I often have a lot of anxiety as an actor, like who are we to feel that we can display this person or this human? And you have to have a kind of real strong intention to want to do it, to put yourself in that kind of vulnerable place really, and to know you can bring something, and so it's a gamble. And I was really intrigued by this character. She does feel unexpected, and there's it's a very complex portrayal of this woman and what she wants, and so I was really drawn to that, and had such a wonderful time working with both David and Riz in developing these characters and their connection, and what this film's really about.
Riz, again, same goes with you. You've done some marvelous projects. How did you get involved in this character, and what did you feel added to it? Because you do a marvelous job here.
Yeah, but your son doesn't think I'm his favorite anything, does he?
He hasn't seen enough of your work,
You
Riz.
could have at least privately messaged that to Lily instead of saying it right here. I'm so insecure right
Well,
now.
Well,
I'm gonna
I'm being silly. Hey, a lot of people wearing Oasis shirts today, by the way.
because it's
Which
yeah,
Oasis summer, man. It's Oasis summer.
it
it's
sure
it's
is.
the Oasis year. Sorry, your question was.
Just what was your take on this character, and kind of how much did you go into it research wise?
Research wise, there were a couple of really important things to do. One was to speak to whistleblowers, because this whole movie is about whistleblowers who are standing up to big corporations and trying to do the right thing. And I met a bunch of those people and spoke to them online. And I mean, they're just really incredible, brave people who have a real deep moral compass. So I have tremendous respect for them. That was really interesting. Another side of it that was super interesting was learning to type a bit faster than I can, because I type like this. I was like, I'm going to do this research, David. I'm going to do that. He was like, listen, buddy, I've seen you type. You need to spend all your time touch typing. And he literally bought me a touch typing course. And for the period of the movie, at least, I wasn't bad. You know, it's probably a bunch of typos in what I was doing on screen, but at least I improved.
Wait, you
Yeah.
got typewriter instructions for this? That's amazing.
Yeah. I did an online touch typing course
You know
because
what's
I'm
funny
like this otherwise. Yeah.
is
Well,
I had to do that for when I did The Darkest Hour. I was Winston Churchill's typist, and I
Yes,
did.
yes, I remember.
Both
Do you
you and I
still?
should definitely add that to our CV. We're kind of, what
Why isn't
actor
that
can
on
do
my
that?
CV? Yeah.
oh yeah, my son loved you in that, by the way.
Damn it.
I mean, look, I know we're running out of time, but I've got to ask, you both are so great, and you are so good together when you're together, but not a lot in this movie at all. Was
Well,
that
you
kind of
wait for
weird?
it, but when it happens, the movie really takes flight as well in a different way, doesn't it? So it's got all that tension and slow build, and then finally, things come together in a way that you don't expect.
Yeah, we wouldn't have been able to earn that level of stakes and tension and connection. I think the climactic sense of these two characters finally coming together was, it was all pivotal in creating that kind of electric moment. So whilst frustrating at times, we wanted to be like have more scenes in the flesh IRL, but it all fed it fed the kind of momentum of the story.
David, I've been kind of following your career for a while. I really like your work. This film especially, you have two leads who are both incredible actors who barely share time together. how did this come about? How did Relay come about for you?
Well, I read the script, in its sort of early form in 2019, and connected to the sort of DNA of old film noirs, and then the 70s kind of paranoid thriller, and the idea of a sort of contemporary whistleblowing thing, and using technology in interesting ways, and trying to get below the radar. It just felt like there was a juicy stuff in there, and so I was drawn to it. But I mean, yeah, as you said, one of the challenges is that the two leads, and there's a definitely a kind of sort of unresolved romantic element to it, that grows. Are not in the same room together. Not only are they not in the same room together, they're actually communicating via an intermediary, and so there's this double dislocation kind of thing. And so how you kind of create the sense of something within that was definitely part of the challenge, and we were all very aware of it when and we rehearsed to try, obviously they're in the same room with the rehearsal and all that, but in on the day they're not, and it was a fascinating challenge, and but one that we kind of knew we had to climb over, and also the intermediate characters in the relay station were all characters that I wanted to kind of in some way help the audience get through, even if there's some of them eating chips and reading things in a kind of bored way, that they're communicating things. And I work with them, and I never show them the script, so they're basically reading what they're reading in a kind of live environment, which is I guess the authenticity of what these guys are doing in the TTY service.
I mean, I love that you brought up 70s. I mean, I feel like we're seeing a kind of maybe a return to some of the 70s ideas of, original. And look, you're dealing with something. This whistleblowing is very common now. It's a very popular idea. It's almost surprising we don't see more of that on screen.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I think the world of the whistleblower, there's such a scary life that they lead. They have to be very brave, and they get shunned, and I'm very sure that in cases like what we see now, that harassed and stuff done that's kind of beyond the law against them, and it's a very lonely existence. There are whistleblower support organizations, but essentially the guys are on their own, and they've seen something bad and they feel like they need to do it, and it's a certain type of person. And then a lot of the people that we met who'd done it, clearly had some regrets. They felt that their lives had changed forever, and they could never go back to where they were before. And no one really necessarily kind of praised them or noticed them for doing this very brave thing, And so it's a sad world for them, And I kind of I found myself really kind of connecting with those people that we interviewed, and obviously Riz is channeling that in his character, and he is himself a former failed whistleblower, and that was really important to kind of lean into that, and that wasn't there in the original script. We kind of evolved that along the way.
I love that. I love that you actually spoke to people who have dealt with this kind of thing, because this is serious, and it's how would you know unless you've actually dealt with it?
No, just saying, we did quite a lot of research for that, and for the TTY, and for the figures that Sam and Willow and those guys are playing. The sort of former, usually corporate security guys who are usually former law enforcement, who are sort of taking the bigger dollar, and maybe prepared to do things a little bit around the law.
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo was created by movie fans for movie fans, and we appreciate your support.